Knock knock. Who's there? Upside. Spoke about knock on the channel. Not at the exact bottom, but at a great entry point, at a great dip. I'm your host, Joven. Welcome back to the Crypto Spaces channel, guys. Remember, before I dive in, I'm not a financial advisor. Never invest more than you're willing to lose in any project. Nothing I say on the channel is financial advice. So we spoke about NOCK at 1785 cents. You guys can see that on screen. The date is right here. As you could see, April 30th, 2026 at 3:31 a.m. It is currently Sunday, May 10th, 7:44 a.m. And from since then, this is the private Discord you're looking at. We're always talking in here. We got a ton of members crushing it, in the private Discord. If you were paying attention, let's take a look at the NOCK chart. I made sure to lay out, hey, I think NOCK could do a bull flag. Let me type in bull flag and show you guys here. Looks like a bull flag. So right here, this is NOCK here, right? April 30th, 2026, after it made a move up from that 1718 cent level. I was like, oh, this looks like a bull flag. We'll look at the trend. Strong uptrend, sideways, accumulation back down, and then a breakout move. And so said, so done. That's exactly what happened here for NOCK. We saw, that accumulation pullback, which is where I said, hey, 17 cent, 18 cent is a good dip to enter. And then we got the breakout from the bull flag. And how much of a move is that? We see a 2x move, right? If you go to the wick, that's a 2x move for NOCK. If you go to the body candle, that's an 85% move, right? And I'm telling you guys, if you're paying attention, you're in the private Discord, you join the Patreon, you get to see calls like this early before anyone else. You'd be up 2x on your money right now. And I think NOCK could have a lot more upside here. I think it could go back to its all-time highs, which is another 3 to 4x back to all-time high from that 1718 cent level that we spoke about it, and I showed you guys the receipts. It's at 3.32 cent now, which is 63 million FDV, and another 10x to 632 million FDV is very realistic, right? Which would put it at that 10 to 30 cent level. So let's see, at 10 cents, it's going to be, from 10 cents, that's going to be another 3x move. And to 30 cents, that's going to be a 10x move, right? Crazy stuff. And obviously, if you bought in when I said, hey, guys, pay attention to NOCK, it's on a dip here. If you bought in at that 17 cent level, a 10 to 10 cent is going to be a 5-6x move. 20 cent move to 20 cents is going to be a 10x from when we spoke about it at 178 cent. It's a 10x to 30 cents. That's going to be a 16x, right? If you were paying attention, you got some exposure. Like I said, we talked about it in the private Discord at 178 cent. And, I was watching it. I was paying attention. I didn't call out the exact low. I don't even think anyone would have paid attention to me if I did, though. I didn't call out the exact low. I didn't expect it to start moving so quickly. I thought I would have time to accumulate, make a thesis, talk about it, but it started moving before I had the chance to, even formulate a video and a thesis and tell you guys about it, etc. But so that's when it pulled back, I was like, okay, it's dipping here, 178 cent. It finally pulled back. Now would be a good time for it to get some exposure. So now you're up 2x. You could de-risk your initial investment, hold the rest to Valhalla, and I already laid out my upside targets as far as price predictions go. But obviously nothing is guaranteed. So again, always be strategic. But if you were paying attention, you made some money, man. And that's what we are looking at here, right? So what is NOCK? Broke it down in my previous video that I made. If you want to see a full breakdown video, that was 9 days ago, okay? NOCK is a privacy layer 1 project that also has halvings similar to Zcash, but it also is EVM compatible. So it's a triple threat, a triple contender here that is on base chain, right? So it has privacy, it is a layer 1 that does halvings as well, mining. It has mining for it as well, and it's similar to Bitcoin, so it has miners that secure the network. Proof of work, in my opinion, is one of the best utilities that crypto provides, because that ensures a project is decentralized, and it also has, again, it's EVM compatible as well, so that makes it a triple threat. EVM compatible projects have done extremely well in the past, and you know, some of the projects I speak about on the channel like Monad are EVM compatible, right? If you take a look at their X, you'll see that they're you know, basically programmable gold, right? So this is one of those projects like a Bitcoin, Litecoin, you know, Zcash. The best, you know, comparison would be Zcash, but I think it steps above it because guess what? It is EVM compatible, right? It's basically one of those projects, proof of work project, that you could hold for the long term. But if you're up, like I said, crypto is very speculative. So if you're up in profits from when I talk about it, and you're happy with some of your profits, take some of your profits. But this is one of the projects you can hold for the long term, right? As you can see, they do halvings as well. Emissions halved, blocks sped up, new era, right? And they're always consistent with their updates. You could see the proof rate on NOCK chain is exploding here, right? Logan working on NOCK chain. Okay, so one of the builders for NOCK chain, showing the proof rate for NOCK chain is exploding here. The mining activity is at all-time highs, which is typically great for a project. That shows that if typically when you see an explosion in mining activity, that also price also follows. It also means that, you know, the miners are utilizing the networks, making it more secure and making it an actual active chain, right? Proof of work projects, in my opinion, are some of the best in the space. That's why Bitcoin always is number one, because it's a proof of work project, right? So the network has been mining 4 million proofs per second. We tap into this energy, making it proving that it's fully useful. Great stuff. So they're always active here. They're always building out things. And like I said, I've just laid out my price predictions for the project as well. Gave you some analysis on what could happen next. If you're just finding out about the project now, don't FOMO. It's on a, you know, it's not, I'm not sure if it's just going to continue to climb out of here, right? It could just continue to climb out of here. But the smartest thing to do would be look for pullbacks. And if you say, for example, you have $500, you don't want to miss the rocket ship, you have $500, just buy 50 to $100. Wait some days. If it pulls back, then you DCA another $50, another $100. It pulls back again, you DCA, and that way you get that $500 exposure. But if you have the $50 to $100 you put in, it continues to climb up. It continues to climb after you put in that 50 to $100. At least you get the rocket ship. At least you get on the rocket ship, even if you didn't want to buy as much as you wanted to, right? That's the best way to do it. So if you say, for example, like I said, you got $500, don't just toss in the entire $500, because guess what? It could just retrace back down on you. Boom. Then your $500 gets cut in half, gets cut by 30%. You're like, oh no, I did the wrong thing. So guess what? You just get a tiny bit of exposure. If the rocket ship goes and continues to fly, well, guess what? You're on the rocket ship. You make some money. It's not life-changing gains. Who cares? You made some money, right? Because most people in crypto don't make money, all right? So that should be your goal. Make some money, right? And then if it pulls back, you DCA down. You apply the strategy as it dips, okay? So let's see here. What else I wanted to show you guys? Okay, TA from OX Hades here. NOCK has now surpassed the first 30 mil target, 64 mil in a beautiful candle. NOCK is a native asset, a NOCK chain with efficient blockchains. Why should I buy now? Launched a year ago, chart is bottom, supply is fixed, and big names in KOLC. Only 4.29 million supply. Low supply like Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin only has 21 million. And again, it's proof of work, right? That will not change. 600% away from all-time high. He expects a KTA-like run from here. So back to the high. Okay. I think a move back to the high is very possible indeed. Been a long time since I both posted anything like NOCK. Last time I did was LCX is from Still Capo, ended up running 100x and getting listed on Coinbase back in 2019 to 2021. Maybe I got another one in me. Yeah. So last time he called at 100x on LCX in 2019 to 2021. I wasn't here for that cycle. I got in late 2021, to 2022. So the people that got in that cycle, hey, congrats to y'all, because I think that was one of the easiest and best cycles from what I've heard about it, right? But this cycle, right, was, again, a lot of people said this was the worst bull run ever, and I did pretty okay. Even though I gave back a lot of my profits, I did pretty good. And it was one of the worst bull runs ever. So this next bull run, in my opinion, will be a great one, because this one sucked, right? I think the next one will be great. So, people like Still Capital calling 100x moves on projects, very possible, right? So a 100x move for NOCK, if we're going to go for the exact, because I don't know if a 100x move is going to be possible from here. A lot of people are calling for $1 per NOCK. It's possible. But from the exact bottom and at that 0055 level, you could see 100x for NOCK would be around 50 cents, okay? And then 200x from the exact bottom would be $1, right? So this is why I say 30 cents to $1 possible for me. Obviously 10 cents I think is very realistic. 10 cents is pretty much back to the full body candle high right here, 10 cent right here. I think that's very realistic for NOCK here. And again, 10 cent to 30 cent, another 10x move on this thing, I think is possible. The 30 cent, I think so. If you found value in this video, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell to get access to calls like this early. Like I said, talked about it in the private Discord. Just go to my channel bio right here. The first link in the channel bio, join my Patreon. It'll take you to the Patreon. We already have 49 members. You get access to the private Discord. Once you become a Patreon member, we have a community that is working together that has fantastic insight. People in the Discord, the private, are crushing it, making great calls as well. We're sharing all our own ideas. I think it's better to navigate the space with someone else, with other people, instead of doing that by yourself. You also get exclusive access to all of my content early before anyone else. So like, for example, how I said the call for NOCK at 1718 cent, that was in the private and on the Patreon page as well, so that you could get into these calls early before anyone else sees it. NOCK now is at 31 cent. Think it has more upside in it as well. Think this will be a big call on the channel as well. Not guaranteed, but it's possible. I really do believe so. And again, we're just doing our best here. We'll continue to crush it. So I highly recommend joining the Patreon, guys. As always, remember to give praise and glory to the Lord God Jesus. Thank God for everything. I'll catch you in the next one.